Food stamp enrollees in one state own more than 14,000 luxury vehicles, and among those you had 3 Ferraris, 11 Lamborghinis, 59 Maseratis, and thousands of other luxury vehicles.
Food stamps were supposed to feed struggling families. Then investigators found luxury cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Maseratis. And that was just the beginning.
About a year ago, we asked for the top 10 states in terms of SNAP spending for their participant data because we wanted to do an evaluation of the integrity and quality of that data, especially as it touched on qualification, your eligibility to be on SNAP. We received 6 states, the data from those 6 states. And I would just say that we've finished a report of Ohio, and I think, I know I spoke a little bit to this earlier, but we found $13.3 million in anomalies just from that one state who shared their data with us. Before that report became public, they had already started working on those vulnerabilities.
Okay.
But 4 states, California, New York, Illinois, and Michigan, have yet to give us that data so that we could do the same thing and look at the issues in their states.
Right. Yeah, something tells me that's not going to happen, bro.
We find things such as applications that miss key data like social security numbers, blanks in terms of citizenship, duplicate enrollments, like people who are clearly not living in that state but being paid out funds from that state. So with these 4 states, California, New York, Illinois, and Michigan, if they do not provide the data, we can't even start to look at that. Now, you did mention USDA. I know that they have requested from all 50 states, the request is a little bit different, so I can't get too much into that, and they are a separate organization. But I know that from our separate requests, I have ordered a subpoena, which is very unusual that a state agency will require the IG to issue a subpoena for that kind of information, but we have issued 4 subpoenas to those states, and we're still waiting on that information.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing their results once returned and complied with. Ms. Royal, next question to you. I want to commend your organization for publishing this report, Why Food Stamp Program Integrity is More Important Now Than Ever. And specifically, I just want to note from the report, in
guys, it's always been important.
2023 alone, food stamp enrollees in one state own more than 14,000 luxury vehicles. And among those, you had 3 Ferraris, 11 Lamborghinis, 59 Maseratis, and thousands of other luxury vehicles. The supposed goal of the SNAP program, of course, has been litigated today, but what was revealed in this report seems to be the program's reality. Help this committee and the constituents back home understand, how does a program dedicated to feeding low-income families end up subsidizing Lamborghinis and Bentleys?
Our tax code, but we'll talk later.
People
100%.
make false statements on applications. And there is very little access to technology for states to verify that information before benefits are issued. So it's the pay and chase model, where even though a benefits worker may think that information is suspicious or suspect, they still have to issue those benefits, get it to a fraud investigator. Fraud investigator puts it on the stack of already overwhelming caseload and then has to go back and verify the facts.
Right.
It's not having access to technology and trying to fight these increased fraud numbers with a minimum amount of investigators is a Herculean task that we can't accomplish.
Because everyone
Thank you
is
very
doing
much.
it,
In the
basically.
closing 30 seconds, Ms. Gressler, good to see you again. Thank you for testifying again before this committee. Would love for you to close out by just illuminating how helpful the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the Working Families Tax Cut, was in ensuring that we're rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse.
Yes, it was a great first step towards that, and primarily in the SNAP program, because if you don't have accountability at the end of the day, there is zero incentive for any state or any agency that is delivering these federal benefits to be able to reduce those. And we can't accept, as a cost of business, having up to $500 billion per year in fraud just so that we can make it easier so that those who are actually eligible for these programs will receive them.
Yeah.
You have to go after that. There is
'Cause that's
no
what it
private
is,
sector
purely.
business that could stay in business if it accepted the level of fraud, waste, and abuse that's going on now.
Very well said. Mr. Chairman, my time's up. Before I yield back, if I could enter into the record why food stamp program integrity is more important now than ever, this report at your will, sir.
Accept.
Yeah, I think we should look
Mr.
into that
Chairman, I also have a UC.
report there.
Ma'am?
I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record 12 letters issued by House Oversight and Government Reform, Democrats on the importance of data security and privacy in government programs, which we have sent to the administration, which they have failed to respond to. Thank you.
Without objection. Representative Luna, you are recognized, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable Walk, in Operation Cold Snap, 20 Minnesota retail locations were hit in a single operation for SNAP trafficking. Minnesota is also the epicenter of the largest documented social service fraud scandal in American history, where over 98 individuals charged, 85 being of Somali descent, nearly $300 million stolen from the USDA's federal child nutrition program. Did Minnesota's sanctuary status contribute to allowing that network to operate for years?
Yes. It's not just Minnesota.
Congresswoman, I'm not sure if that did, but I do know that in terms of Operation Cold Snap and feeding our futures, that there was a big nexus to the Somali community. But we haven't looked at the issue of how the sanctuary jurisdictions affected that.
I understand this to be correct, not just in Minnesota, though. In most states that actually have illegal immigration problems and provide sanctuary status to these people, where they are limiting cooperation with federal immigration enforcement, do you find it to be the case that similar cases also exist in regards to SNAP fraud?
Well, I think we need to be able to cooperate across jurisdictional lines when it comes to law enforcement. So if we're not getting cooperation from the state agencies and the proper degree of information sharing, it's very difficult to go after the fraud, particularly in terms of illegal alien communities, because what we found is that often does involve false identities, false document rings, and that the resources that are needed to get at that is not just going to be within USDA. We do need cooperation from state and locals and other federal agencies to get at that.
So are sanctuary cities and states more likely to be the states that are looking to specifically kind of halt the federal government from having access to the documentation that will basically prove that there are absolutely glaring issues happening here? The $500 billion number here is intriguing to me also because, yes, do we need to get rid of the program? No. But are there in fact people utilizing the program for nefarious purposes? Yes. Do people have the ability to say that they are so close to the poverty line that they now have access to food stamps or government benefits for food, etc.? Yes. Let me explain to you how I perceive or I think that they're basically doing this here. I am definitely not in promotion of the idea of you actually making money and then pilfering money from the federal government just because you can, right? But basically how they're doing this here is they're running some type of S Corp or C Corp or whatever it is here, and their money is going straight through there. They're being paid through some type of payroll company where they're paying themselves or they're offsetting their overall profits to from their actual company itself to other things. They're basically doing the Warren Buffett method here. They're buying income producing assets, and the income that's basically coming from these assets are going straight back to their S Corp or C Corp, et cetera, right? While then being paid out a small percentage of money to their, through some type of payroll company, most likely ADP or something, right? And then they're paying themselves right at the poverty line so they can actually still utilize all the government benefits while making all of this money, but all of this money is technically not theirs, unless they're utilizing some type of pass-through system. But the ones who are actually making enough money to be driving Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Maseratis, in fact, what are they not doing here, guys? All right. They're not utilizing some type of pass-through system where that money is still theirs and they personally have to pay taxes on it. And they're probably utilizing some type of like non-grantor trust system or something. Non-grantor trust through a C Corp, through a like multi-managed LLC, then to an S Corp that pays them. So their money that they're making to buy all these Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Maseratis is basically being pushed through multiple entities. So this is how I know they're doing it. They may potentially be making hundreds of thousands of dollars on a monthly basis because they technically own these income producing assets. Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, these are all company cars, most likely owned by some type of C Corp, etc. But they themselves have nothing. Okay, that is how our tax code is set up. This is how the wealthy have been basically staying wealthy for forever, bro. They own nothing but control literally everything for the most part. I'm sure you've heard this here. Well, on paper, by default, your W-2 dictates you're making $28,000 a year, right? $22,000 a year, whatever the minimum is in the state, let's say, to be able to actually utilize these government programs. That's what they're doing here. These are users, guys, all right? These are users. And our system basically is set up for like good faith business owners and people who are looking to do, good faith business. But there are people, in fact, utilizing our tax code and utilizing our corporate structure for the sole purpose of nefarious purposes that, in fact, are milking us. So the $13.3 million that we've lost here. And when we start talking about New York City, we start talking about California, we start talking about all these sanctuary states and sanctuary city hotspots. Trust me when I say this is exactly what they're doing. Period. Right? I mean, anyone that has studied business or been in business school or like encountered business as a whole, large scale, the goal of a good amount of these people are to make $12 a year. Drive a Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati that they do not own because they don't want nothing in their name. Because if there's anything in their name, what does that mean? That means the government knows it. Owning nothing but controlling that asset, or depreciating asset that is a Ferrari, Lamborghini, or Maserati. They technically can drive it, sure, great, right? But they make $12 a year, guys. So of course they can qualify for food stamps and government assistance and welfare and all those other things. They don't need it, but they're definitely in fact doing it because again they're users, factually, right? Like you're trying your hardest to do everything within your power to basically not do what is right for the United States of America. The United States of America allows you to basically be in a position to drive that Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati here, okay? And then your next goal is to basically pilfer from her. Bro, listen, you are trash. You are hot garbage, my boy. All right. But either way, listen, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. You guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys later.